Hey guys, Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street, and it's time for Whiteboard Wednesday. One of my favorite things to do. Now, normally I focus on a sales or marketing centric subject, which is congruent with my overall brand. And you probably guys all know now that I have this amazing program now, which is on my own website where I'm giving a major 7-day free trial for, but let's not talk about that now. Let's talk about this awesome topic for today, which isn't quite in the sales area, but it's something you're all gonna love. And it's something that I think is gonna liberate a lot of you, if not all of you, because there's this weird misconception among most people in the world that there's a shortage of money out there, that you could have a great idea or even a mediocre idea, and you're blocked from trying to execute on it because you don't have capital. You don't have money, so you can't get started. You always say, like money is needed to start a business. And that's true. Money is required typically to start a business, unless it's got some ridiculous type of positive cash flow. You can sort of fake it and jumpstart it without having a product and sell and get your money first, blah, blah, blah. But 99.9% of the time, money is gonna be needed. The mistake people make is they think that it's hard to find money. And let me just tell you something, raising capital for a good idea, a great idea, or believe it or not, even an okay idea is very easy to do once you know how. Now, it does fall under the purview of sales and persuasion because you have to persuade someone to give you money. But that's not what I want to focus on right now. I want to focus on a very important concept that I think most people don't get, and because of this, they end up giving away the store. They give away way too much of their company, or they don't know when is the right time to actually go and get financing. And I get this question all the time from very successful entrepreneurs, and some really successful, by the way. They don't understand venture capital, so they don't know when they should bring in outside capital, where to go get it. And what's that sweet spot? Because remember, when you bring in money from the outside, you're gonna get diluted. You gotta give away some part of your business for that, right? So the question is, when do you bring in outside capital? What's the trade-off? How do you know when the time is right? Let me give you a very, very simple guide here using the whiteboard here. And it's kind of one of the most powerful things I could do is explain to you how venture capital works in 5 minutes flat here. Very simple, right? Call it the big V or VC venture capital. Right? Here's the way it works. Imagine, I'm gonna sort of work backwards here. Imagine that you have an idea, right? All businesses start off as ideas. So you have this idea, right? So that idea is basically the lowest form of value in terms of for a businessman looking to invest or a venture capitalist or an angel looking to invest. Someone says, hey, I got this great idea. They're like, all right, what's your fucking idea, right? And you tell them the idea and they're like, oh, well, that sounds pretty good, or they think it sucks, whatever. But the point is, an idea is, let's call an idea is worth X dollars, whatever that number is. If it's a really great idea, it could be worth $1 million, just the idea itself, right? If it's just your run-of-the-mill idea, it's probably worth $10,000, or maybe $50,000. Whatever it may be, there aren't that many revolutionary proprietary ideas out there, but some ideas inherently are worth more than others. But they all have a value, and we'll put that value as X, right? So the question really is, if you want to go and raise money for this idea, it's a fucking New York accent, this idea, fucking New Yorker, right? Anyway, it's idea, my wife's rolling over. Oh my God, idea, you sound like an idiot, okay? Anyway, an idea, okay? You wanna go raise money for this idea, right? And let's say a venture capitalist loves it and says, okay, like you see on Shark Tank, right? It's craziness, right? So not the real world, but you see it on Shark Tank, right? So an idea is worth, let's say, $50,000. That's what someone thinks that's the X of this idea. It's worth $50,000. So let's say you need $25,000. So if someone's gonna essentially give you 25 grand, they think the idea is worth 50, you have to give away half of your company to get the 25K. Everyone get that? It's in the investor's mind, okay, the idea, it's worth 50 grand, it's an arbitrary amount, right? And they'll say, all right, you need 25 grand, great. Here's 25 grand, give me half your company back, right? That's the reality. And whatever these numbers are and ratios are, they always amount to the same thing. Someone gives you X amount of dollars for some percentage of your company, which represents a percentage of the whole. So let's say they valued your company at $1 million and you wanted 25 grand, well, you give away a lot less, right? Only a very small percentage of it. Make sense? Okay, so here's my lesson for you today. I'm gonna show you how you go about increasing the value of your company as you move up the chain in this, sort of vulture, dog-eat-dog world of venture capital, right? So it starts off with an idea, the lowest form of value, right? So what do you do to make this idea seem to be more valuable? Well, what we do is we put together a well-thought-out business plan. Now, this is why everyone says you have to have a business plan in order to really raise money, because what a business plan does, and just so you know, it's never going to sell the idea for you. A business, no one's going to read your plan, oh, that sounds freaking good, and they give you the money. It doesn't work that way. But you have to have a business plan, because what the business plan, and with that is something called an investment deck, right? These things work together to essentially make it more real. Make it more real in the eye of the potential VC, the person giving you the money. So a business plan represents a well thought out document that basically outlines exactly how you're going to go out and actually execute on your idea. It has a go-to-market strategy. It has your competition in there. It has your operational structure. It shows you your projections, your cash flow. So what you're doing essentially is by having a well thought out, perfectly written business plan, it makes the idea more real to the investor. So the simplest way that you can use essentially to increase the value of your company is, or your idea, is to put it in writing in the form of a business plan and an investment deck. Okay, now there are obviously rules to how you do that, but I'm just giving you the broad strokes here. So let's say you do that. So the idea might be worth $50,000. It could very well be worth $500,000, because remember, we now have perceived values going up because you've made it more real in the eye of the investor. They say, oh, wow, he's really thought this through here. And that makes sense, right? Because you've thought it through, you've showed them on paper that it seems to work out, the margins are there, the market analysis has been done, you have your strat, so it becomes more real. Versus saying, hey, I got a great idea, right? What would you rather invest in? Someone who just have a great idea, or said, and here's my plan, look how well thought out it is, look how the numbers look over 5 years, it becomes more real. So that's the next level up, okay? Now, if you want to go and make it even more alluring to someone, you can go now and build what's called a prototype. A prototype. So what that means is you actually, if it's a tangible product or even an intangible product, you have some sort of representation that shows, and here's what it looks like in the real world. Here it is. I can't make these yet at the right price, although my business plan shows you that I eventually can, but you show them a prototype, show them that it actually works, that there's something tangible. And again, by showing someone a prototype of whatever your idea is, or a working model, so to speak, right? Even if it's not scalable yet, even if it's not in the real world, like it's actual a functioning business, right? By doing this prototype, or just showing someone a model of what you're doing in the real world, wow, now you have another probably 5-fold bump in the eyes of the investor. In other words, because again, you're making it more real. As you make something more real, people say, well, there's probably less risk because he's taking it down or she's taking it that much further. So by doing that, you can value your company at a higher level. Okay, that's the next level. Now, if you want to do that even further, you can go from a prototype, okay, into a functioning business, right, that actually has some traction. Meaning you actually now build a business around this idea. Now the business might not be running perfectly yet. It might not have the margins that, if you haven't squeezed out all your margins and have all your processes in place, but you've shown someone that you can actually put an operating business model that makes sales. You're actually making sales of your product or good or service. And again, by doing that, you probably get another 10-fold bump in the value, whatever that X value starts off at. In other words, as you take your idea and escalate up this ladder here, your idea becomes worth more and more money in the eyes of an investor. And then the last part is actually a functioning business, a real live functioning business that you've built around your idea, and that requires bootstrapping, entrepreneurial tactics, but you've essentially taken your idea now and you have it running, and it's actually making money, and it could be losing money in terms of overall, but you actually have a product, you're selling it at a profit, and your business is flourishing, and you're growing. And what happens now is if you start off with a business plan and now you prove it out that it's actually functioning, well, guess what? Your idea is worth so much more money to an investor. So these are the different steps on the ladder. Idea, you get it to a business plan investment deck, to a prototype, to an actual functioning, like a model, right? To a real functioning business. As you escalate up on this ladder here, your idea becomes worth more and more. The same idea becomes worth a lot more money because it's more real. So the question is now, when do you go to raise money? When do you go? Well, the answer is going to be you want to play this movie out. So, okay, here's my idea. Here's how I get to eat. This is anyone could do. Anyone could get to this next step, business plan, IDEC. You just do it. You do it yourself. You learn how to do it. You fucking do it, right? Or if you're terrible at English, you can pay someone a very small amount of money. But anyone can get this done. And then you say to yourself, okay, how do I now we get into these sort of entrepreneurial tactics of bootstrapping and sort of starting from your home garage and all this sort of stuff that we do as entrepreneurs. But the point is, the further that you can push your business along this continuum, the easier it's going to be to raise money and the less of your business that you'll have to give away in the process. And that, in a nutshell, is how venture capital works. In other words, you start with an idea, you dress it up with a really nice business plan and investment deck, you try to get a prototype going or some traction, and ultimately you turn it into a real business and you bring money in at the last possible moment that you can. You don't want to bring your money in too early. Biggest mistake people make is they try to bring in money, a lot of it. They dilute themselves out. They don't need to. They could have used bootstrapping tactics, entrepreneurial techniques where you actually leverage and grow without needing that much money. And by doing that, you increase the valuation of your company so substantially that when you do bring in that first angel investor or whoever that person might be, you're not giving away the store. That's the secret to raising money with venture capital. Now, obviously, there's a lot of work to be done here in terms of, how you do each of these steps. This is a broad overview. And at the end of the day, remember, like anything else, it's about sales and persuasion. It's your ability to explain an idea to someone to make it real in their mind. And for that, we use the straight line system. Straight line persuasion, which essentially allows you to transfer the certainty that you have. In other words, you're certain that your idea is awesome, it's revolutionary, that it's going to work out. So you're so certain about that, and then you transfer that certainty into the heart and mind of the investor, hopefully as far along on this continuum as you can get, and that's how you raise capital effectively. Now, for all of you, I want you to seriously just understand, check out this link here. I have a 7-day free trial right now for Straight Line Persuasion, this new program I created, which is freaking awesome. I love you all. I'm not going to tell you about it, but just click on this link and find out about it. It won't cost you anything. You get 7 days and you'll be blown away. Now, again, it's not about VC. It's about closing the deal. But when it comes to closing the deal, and when it comes to raising money, you have to be a closer. There's no way around that. Love you all. I hope you enjoyed this. Check out the free link. Click on it. You'll be really, really impressed. This is the best program I have ever created for teaching people to become world-class closers. And I've created more million-dollar closers than anyone in the world. Probably all the other trainers combined. And you know that's true because Hollywood never lies. I love you.